Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. Today I wanted to discuss what I think is a very interesting topic. Is Russia technologically behind? There is a lot of talk about Russian military, Russian technology, and for a very long time, all you hear is that Russia is technologically behind. Russian military is technologically behind and inferior to Western military, Russian planes, tanks, and everything. Let me also say that I have mentioned many times that I am against what's going on in Ukraine, specifically the war or whatever you could call it, because right now in Russia you could get in trouble for calling it that, I hope. But anyway, please stop commenting saying that I am not doing enough. I can't really do anything apart from like making videos and everything. All right. So having said that, let me discuss that Russian technological inferiority is a myth, and I will totally prove it to you. For example, as civilians, right? I mean, most of us, while I'm not directly familiar with American military hardware and directly familiar with Russian military hardware, I am directly familiar with the living conditions and infrastructure in America and in Russia. I lived in both of those countries and I can directly compare them. And I can tell you that when it comes to living conditions, infrastructure of water, electricity, heat, America is definitely behind Russia, and also Western Europe is also behind Russia. Also, when it comes to things such as banking, Russian banking is more technologically advanced than Western banking. This might come as a myth to you because you've heard so much propaganda otherwise. And I am not saying all of this because I am on side of Russia or I am trying to convince you. I am saying this because this is the truth. It honestly is. And I was myself a victim of this because I lived for 25 years in California where the infrastructure is so bad that I suffered from it. And not only is it bad, it also costs an insane amount of money. Let me come to direct examples. Internet access in California compared to Russia, or in America, or in Canada. Internet access costs $100 a month. I paid in California $75 a month for so-called cable charter internet access. In Russia, I get internet access, which is better and faster by like a factor of 5 to 10 than in California, and I pay 10 times less. I pay like $7 a month, where I used to pay $75 a month. Now let's compare, for example, let's compare transportation. In America, public transportation does not exist at all. So easily Russian infrastructure of public transportation wins because Russia has buses, trains, and also Europe has them. So as we can slowly see, it's not, while Russia is not perfect by any means, I don't think anybody from America can honestly come out and say that Russia is technologically behind in something when their own country is, in fact, more behind. So are they not seeing what's going on in their country while criticizing another country? Is that like a regular American approach to criticize and go into the affairs of other countries while at home their own affairs are in deep crap? And I'm saying this as an American citizen and as someone who was disgusted with facets of American life and what was going on in America, and that's why I left. After coming to America as a kid, I was completely disgusted with a lot of things. Let's discuss water and electricity and how people live. Most Americans live in cardboard houses, which cost an insane amount of money to maintain, property taxes, and all of that. Most Russians live in cement buildings, which are very strong. You don't have to repair them. And as method of living and infrastructure, it is superior to the way Americans live in single-family homes. Because living in separate houses, which are not even made of rock, is something people did 200 to 300 years ago before they invented a big apartment buildings. And this only exists in places like New York, almost. It's like the only place in America where it's widespread. Yes, apartments exist in other cities in America, but they're insanely expensive to live in. The HOA fees are insane. Also, let's discuss, for example, banking. In Russia, you can send money using a built-in banking system. You don't have to use PayPal. You don't have to use... Basically, what I'm trying to say is that you've been lied to again about all of the supposed inferiority of Russia or third world, which is not true. This is not just the case in Russia. In a lot of so-called third world countries that are classified as backwards by the media, are in fact not behind. And it is the Western countries that are behind. Countries such as the United States, the United Kingdom, Germany, and all of those. So let's talk about banking. In Russia, you can send money from a card to a card using the bank's built-in system for free. Can you do that in America? Can you take a card, like a debit card in America, and send money to another debit card? You cannot. You can in Russia. In America, in fact, sending money to another person is a huge ordeal. You have to either use PayPal, you have to use Zelle, you have to use some kind of third-party system that's going to take money away from you. So, as you can see, that's a fact. What else can I talk about? That is one of the main things. Also, for example, when I pay by card, right, in America, even the card terminals, you know, the NFC card terminals where you just like put a card up, you know, where you just like put a card, or your phone, that was not widespread. And in Russia, it's widespread. So almost anywhere there is a credit card terminal, you can just, you know, at least I used to work before the sanctions. You could use Google Pay, Samsung Pay, or Apple Pay. Now it doesn't work because of the sanctions, but you can still put your card down and it worked. The prices for utilities, for example, all of American infrastructure for gas, water, electricity, and including internet is so outdated that and it's so insanely expensive, and it's so insanely poorly built, designed, and maintained that even Mexico has those systems better. When you had a freeze up in Texas, remember those, like, you know, like a year ago, whatever? Remember when a simple like freeze up knocked out Texas in electricity and pipes and all of those, electricity grid, and people got like $10,000 bills in the mail? And in nearby Mexico, nothing like that happened. Mexico was fine. No electricity hiccups, no problems with water, nothing. So Mexican systems were better than American systems. So what I'm trying to get to is all of American infrastructure is so bad that it is much worse than Russian infrastructure. So when we're getting to the military, I'm not saying that there are no problems in Russia. What I'm saying is, in comparison to what? And people seem to compare a lot of Russian problems to the problems in NATO and America. Well, I can tell you, based on the infrastructure in America, I think that American military is probably in the same type of a deal. And it was proven by the fact that they stayed in Afghanistan for 20 years with zero accomplishments. So it is not just a Russian problem, you know? And you get, like, while if you accuse others of some problems while not seeing the problems on your own end, you basically have double standards and you're not objectively looking at them. Now, if you admit fully the problems on your end, then you're objectively looking at it. But very few people seem to do that. You know, people keep talking about American technological advantages and American technological superiority. It is only in certain, absolutely small, certain places, like, for example, computer chips, right? Yes, there is American superiority in things like Intel, AMD, and all those. Yes, Russia doesn't have those. But when it comes to a lot of other things, America is so far behind, and Western Europe as well. You know, look at like housing. There are homeless people in Germany, in America. There is almost no homeless people in Russia, like almost none. So clearly, Russia has better living infrastructure, housing infrastructure than either America or Germany by far. Where is the articles admitting that? Am I the only person? So while living in America for 25 years, they've been fooling me into thinking that I live in paradise, where I realized I live in expensive shithole, which is what California was. And I don't think it's that much better in other American places. Correct me if you think I said anything wrong. Feel free to correct me in comments. Thank you.